So a mother of a boy with a rare genetic disorder tweeted out her hospital bill. Alison Chandra's son Ethan was born with heterotaxy syndrome, which in short is a rare genetic disorder in which organs form on the wrong side of the body. She tweeted out her hospital bill saying, quote, "It seems fitting that with the TrumpCare debate raging, I got this bill in the mail today from Ethan's most recent open heart surgery." Now, if you take a look at that, you can see that she will only be paying $500, but don't worry, she's not gonna make us do the math. She tweeted another thing. She says, "I'll save you some math. Without insurance, we would owe," oh my God, that's such a big number and I didn't do well in math. 231,000 about for 10 hours in the OR, 1 week in the CICU and 1 week on the cardiac floor. That is a staggering amount.
Right.
And she also, she's been going viral with this. She commented even more on top of this. She said, "I didn't follow politics before November. I was overseas for both of President Obama's elections. I have been shocked at how loudly each side yells about their specific talking points. It paints these issues as black and white when they are anything but that. It seems like our kids are being reduced to a line in a budget. No one seems to realize there are real people behind it." She absolutely has made her point because people are talking. I don't know, I kind of disagree with one point here where she says, "I have been shocked by how loudly it paints these issues as black and white when they're anything but that." I think that healthcare is a black and white issue for me. I think it should be affordable for everyone. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Well, it's really interesting because yesterday I was listening to Patriot Radio, which is, I know that we're on Progress right now, and I guess Patriot is the conservative counterpart to this radio station. But there was a doctor who called in and like her thoughts on healthcare are so different from the thoughts that we discuss on this show. She thinks healthcare should only be for catastrophic issues. It should not be used for preventative care. It should not be used for mental health care. It should not be used for addiction. It shouldn't be used for anything unless you have like something catastrophic happen to you. So if you have cancer, that's when insurance would cover certain things. And so the reason why I bring that up is because no, Grace, not everyone thinks like you. Not everyone thinks like us. There are people in this country, people who work in the healthcare profession who think that, health insurance should only kick in when it comes to serious terminal illnesses, which is absurd. Now, in this case,
in fact, the way to avoid these terminal illnesses oftentimes
is preventative care.
Exactly.
And look, one thing that I've always been super fascinated about is Cuba, not only for their men, but also because of their healthcare system and stuff like that. And
it humanizes us.
I know. And it's just interesting because back when Cuba had resources from the Soviets, right? They actually had insanely good healthcare. Now, of course, they lost a lot of resources because of the fall of the Soviet Union, but they still have the best preventative healthcare, right? Preventative healthcare is so important. It's so important. This idea that you should who cares about preventative healthcare, right? Let's just wait until we're all super sick and then everything will be great. No, it doesn't. It's not supposed to work that way. The reason why people in Cuba, who by the way, many of which live in poverty, the reason why their life expectancy is similar to ours, even though they don't have the same resources as us, is because they focus on preventative care. It's so important to them. So, I love this story, not because of the tragic condition that her son has to go through, but because it provides some perspective. The Affordable Care Act is not perfect, okay? The Affordable Care Act absolutely does deserve to get criticized because for some people it has not worked out. It has become much more costly. However, there are a lot of people that the Affordable Care Act did help. And this is just one example of that. It helped my mom who had a pre-existing condition, chronic kidney disease. No insurance company wanted to cover her. And because of the Affordable Care Act, she managed to get coverage. So
that's one of the breakthrough aspects of the Affordable Care
absolutely.
Act, the pre-existing condition.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, anyway, you guys jump in. I feel like I'm rambling.
What I would say about health insurance, this is a really big topic. What I'd say about health insurance is these insurance companies, at their best, really do let you off the hook for a huge medical bill of the sort that we've just detailed. What's happening is that these insurance companies are beginning to back off on a lot of the things that they do cover. And so this is part of just a segue into a general discussion of what's happening. Insurance is something that we really have to have because there are so many health issues and medical issues that confront us and our families. But those things that are covered, the way they're covered, the way insurance companies push back on coverage, it's a real problem, and it's going to be an emerging issue in this country in a very, very short time. I mean, even a bigger issue than it already is. The number of medical bankruptcies, I think, has gone up by I thought I saw 61% since the 80s. So these are people who you have to declare bankruptcy. That's the only way you can even deal with the medical bill. So facing catastrophic medical bills, the sort that Grace has talked about, well, that would easily bankrupt anyone. I mean, most reasonable middle-class people. So all I'm trying to say is this healthcare debate and the insurance company debate, it's part of a big debate and big problems that this country is going to have to face, and we're backsliding on them, I think, with every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bipartisan issue, and everyone needs to get involved.
What do you get for Young Turks membership? It's a mystery. Only one way to find out. TYTnetwork.com/join.